So one of the reasons why we practice meditation, and even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, is to help strengthen our mental ability to deal with challenging and difficult situations. The craziness that is gripping our planet with the coronavirus and the hype in the media and the government locking down countries, food shortages, this certainly qualifies as a challenging situation, to say the least. Through meditation, we learn how to be in the present, how to be in the now. I know this is often a difficult concept to grasp, but think of it like this. I can either dwell on something negative, or I can choose to focus my attention on something positive. The alternative being, I dwell on the negative because I didn't realize I had a choice. The beauty of it is that in each moment, you have the choice to be lost in thought. And FYI, the majority of our thoughts are usually negative or not useful. Or you can do something about it, be in the present. So the following meditation is a tool that you can use when it's getting a bit heavy and it's getting a bit challenging. But more importantly, it is a meditation to arm you with a tool that you can use over and over again to help not only deal with the negative, but to thrive and make the most out of the positive. Because don't forget, amongst the craziness, there are beautiful and amazing things happening all the time, and we can learn to see this too. One final thing I'll say before we begin the meditation. If you want a quick, relaxing fix, then a few meditations here and there can help. But if you want to really strengthen the mind, it takes practice and repetition. Just like going to the gym, if you go once and you do a couple of squats and you lift a few weights, you'll not see any noticeable gains. But if you continue to go, you'll start to see progress. And now in the same way, a meditation here or there is no way as effective or useful as a regular practice. When we sharpen our mindfulness tools, we're stronger, we're more prepared to deal with the negative stuff. And we're also more prepared to deal with what we call black belt stuff. I'm talking about dealing with losing jobs, dealing with disease, losing loved ones. Not to say that being mindful makes the pain go away, but it helps to reduce the time we spend dealing with it, and also allows us to deal with it on our own terms and in our own time. So sit up straight, have a nice strong posture. Imagine, if you will, a string pulling up the body. You don't need to fold your arms or touch your fingers or sit cross-legged. Just be comfortable, but keep your back straight. Okay, closing your eyes is highly recommended, but let's begin by taking in 5 deep breaths. So for the next few minutes, really try and give it 100%, because some of these tools and techniques hold the key to a lifetime of practice. Really try and fill your lungs as much as possible. And then on the exhale, fully empty out the air. Imagine there is stale air trapped in the lower part of your lungs. Really tap into that and replace it with new oxygen. Feel how that already is starting to strengthen your body. Okay, now return to regular breathing. In and out of the nose. As you breathe in and out, I want you to pay close attention to the flow of the breath. Follow the inhale and the exhale with awareness. What does that even mean? So try this. As you breathe in, where do you notice the sensation the strongest? Where do you feel the air passing by the strongest? Do you notice the warmth or coolness of the breath? Some feel it more predominantly in the rise and fall of their stomachs, and some feel it at the top of their nasal passage. But where do you notice it? Breathing in and out. Nothing else matters now but the flow of breath. Notice the pauses in between the inhale and exhale. Spend some time there and analyze it. A cool tip for beginners is to focus on the area just under the nose. Try it now. As the air rushes in and out, pay particular attention to the space on top of the lip, directly under the nostrils. Take some time to experience the sensation. The key takeaway here, and the foundation of meditation, is awareness of the breath. We breathe all of our lives, but rarely do we spend time observing it. This is the time. And there's a skill to it, and this is what we're trying to cultivate. And as long as you're concentrating on the sensation of breathing, you're on your way. Breathing in and out. The layer of awareness. The more you practice this, the more you'll be familiar and comfortable in the space of awareness on the breath. Okay, and with that foundation, we can apply the mental push-up. So here's part one of the push-up. And again, really paying attention to the instructions and following them diligently. So you may have noticed that your mind keeps wandering away with thoughts about stuff you need to do later or things that have happened in the past. This doesn't mean you're not good at meditating. That's perfectly normal. We have on average 70,000 thoughts a day, and they don't stop when we meditate. It's our job in part one to be on the lookout for them. Are you lost in thought now? Or are you focusing on your breath? Are you thinking about what you need to do later on? Or are you following your breath with awareness and attention? Part two. As soon as you notice that you're lost in thought, that you're daydreaming, you're feeling tired or bored, this is your trigger. That is your cue to gently return your attention to your breathing. Okay, sounds simple, right? But part one, you notice thoughts. Part two, you return the attention back to the breath. That's it. And we rinse and repeat throughout the meditation. Breathing in and breathing out. When attention is lost, we bring it back deliberately. Okay, back to the sensations on the top of the lip as the air rushes in. Always back to the breath. Think of it as wax on and wax off from the original Karate Kid. Or for you younger people out there that saw the newer version, think of Jaden and Jackie Chan. Remember the scene where Jaden has to continually take off his jacket, put it on the floor, and put it back on. He needs to put it on the floor again and put it back on. The benefits may not have been noticeable then, but later, after lots of practice, these repetitive movements become life skills. Okay, another big 5 deep breaths. Back to noticing all the nuances of the inhale and of the exhale. Become skilled at following your breath. And if any distractions arise, number 1, notice it. Number 2, gently guide your attention back to your exercise, back to your breath. Again, the key, when you notice that you're lost in thought or in a daydream, remind yourself, return to the breath. The breath is the anchor of this exercise, and we're going to keep coming back again and again to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Nothing matters right now other than sensations of the breath. Always back to the breath, back to the present. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing each different section of your breath, right from the inception, as it makes its way through your nose, into your lungs, as your diaphragm and stomach expand. That's where the attention is. All throughout the exhale. Thought arises, notice it with kindness and back to the breath. Okay, and in your own time, open your eyes and come back to the room. Now remember, the more we practice, the stronger our muscle of attention becomes. When we hear stories about the coronavirus and it triggers thoughts, we can divert our attention back to the breath, back to the now. When social media inundates us with negative stories and posts and it triggers off thinking, observe it and bring it back to the breath, bring it back to your present. Or you can just go with it and see where that takes you. It's what we've been doing all our lives. Or when that thought arises, we can stop, take a breath and make an informed decision. Do I want to continue suffering, or do I want to bring it back to the present? We do this so that when the shit really hits the fan, we have a tool that we can draw from, and it's called mindfulness. For more meditations, mindfulnews.uk. Keep practicing and be safe. Have a great weekend.